Hey everyone, so this is my Google Merchandise Store Analysis Executive Summary presentation. As we know, the Google Merchandise Store is, as described, an e-commerce store that sells Google branded merchandise. This store has a variety of items to look at and buy, ranging from apparel to Android-style pens. So before going into the actual user analytics, I'm going to be talking about some audience information of this site. Now, the target audience is males and females in ages ranging from their 20s to 30s. I think this is due to the fact that the majority type of merchandise being put out on the site. There's a lot of clothing that looks quite modernized for young adults, as well as backpacks and bags, which look like they would be in great use for more professional scenarios. Males also made up the majority of users, females making up 35.3% of them. Now onto some actual analytics. So all of the information that I'm giving you guys is from the dates ranging from November 30th, 2019 to November 30th, 2020. During this year, there were 545,000 users and 764,000 sessions, which means an average of 1.4 sessions per user. Looking at the new versus returning visitors, new visitors make up 83.7%, while returning visitors make up 16.3%. The bounce rate of visitors is 45.7%, and the average session duration is just over 3 minutes. Lastly, the pages per session is just over 4.5. On to the next page. So main traffic is coming through organic search, which is 44% of it to be exact. The runner up is direct search, and third place is referral. Well, looking at e-commerce conversion rates, I noticed that they're pretty low across the board, barely peaking over 1% for a short time span in a year. This can be because e-commerce conversion rates are session-based and not user-based. Out of all 8 traffic channels, e-commerce conversion rates are most successful through organic search, direct search, and paid search. Now on to the last page here. Well, looking at the overview tab in the conversion section, I can see that the goal conversion rate is about 13.07%, much better than the e-commerce conversion rate. Going back to acquisition overview, I can see that the percent gap between organic and paid search is huge. This tells me that there's a large SEO focus. Lastly, while looking in the overview of the mobile tab, 68.6% of users came from desktops, but 64.37% of transactions came from mobile users. So for a couple minutes here, I'm just going to be talking about some insights, including some of this data. So even though the majority of users came from people using desktops, over 2 times the amount of transactions compared to desktop users came from people on mobile phones, which has roughly 40% less users overall. This tells me that some more focus towards users on mobile is necessary for increased sales. Something else to look at is what percent of users are going to what landing pages and how much time they're spending on them. Looking at that, the home landing page is the highest usage with 47.64% and a 3-minute and 12-second session duration, while the runner-up is the Google redesigned Shop by Brand YouTube landing page, which only has 8.7% of the users and a much lower 1-minute and 31-second session duration. Although the e-commerce rates have barely gone over 1% in the past year, the goal conversion rate is 13.07%, which seems quite successful. Lastly, when we look at all the channels, paid search is at the bottom of the list with the least number of users, but it also has the highest e-commerce conversion rate on the list. Then we look at the amount of sessions coming from each type of social media. YouTube hits it out of the park with 79.05% of the sessions. So lastly, we're moving on to recommendations. So my first one would be, given that YouTube's a popular source of driving traffic to users, but it performs a bit poorly with bringing in revenue, maybe looking into the paid search aspect of YouTube and working on optimizations to make sure the correct audience is being reached, which can also help lower bounce rate, is important. The second recommendation I have is to create a campaign that promotes YouTube merchandise and products. This would be perfect for the ages ranging anywhere from high teens to maybe even high 20s, depending on videos people are watching and whatnot. This can heighten conversion rates since this age range has the lowest e-commerce conversion rates. My last recommendation would be to improve the website's payment process and interface so more users are likely to check out via desktop, since that's where the majority of users are. Doing this as well as optimizing the mobile site especially is a great idea, considering the transaction rates are the highest as well as revenue made, but taking into consideration the bounce rates are a little bit higher. Thank you.